Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Welcome to our weekly live question and answer class. We host this each Saturday so that you can come on the channel, ask your questions about English pronunciation and American accent, and I'll answer them for you live. At the beginning today, I want to talk about a couple words. These are the words thorough and throughout. And I do have some videos about this. Any videos that I have, you can also go to the channel and use our search tools to find, or just leave me a comment on any video and I'll let you know if I've covered your word or I can add it to my list to cover in a future video. But the reason I wanted to revisit these words is because we've been talking a lot lately about sounds versus spelling. And so I want to break down the words and talk about the challenges that the spelling might present to you in these words. Do feel free to ask your questions at any time in the chat, and after we're finished talking about this topic, I'll turn to your questions and answer them for you. Okay, so looking at the word thorough, there's a lot of letters in thorough, right? But there's actually only three sounds. There's a th sound, an sound, and an o sound. So rewriting the word in a way that makes more sense for your brain, when I see this, I don't know, this looks like the word rough or enough. This looks like an or because the letters OR. That can really throw me off for the pronunciation. So let's break it down. I've rewritten it with the TH the same, so it's a voiceless TH sound. Then the OR says the sound in this word. So I've rewritten that with UR just because that's how we spell it in the word Thursday. I could also write IR like thirsty or ER like person, but I chose this one because I think for many people seeing this will help them say thur and be able to make that combination. Now, of course, pronouncing the TH and R together can be challenging, and I do have a number of videos breaking down TH and R for you. What I would suggest is if that gives you trouble, start on the sound and then add your TH. That would sound like thur, thorough. Then in this word, the letters O-U-G-H just say the O diphthong. So I've rewritten that for you here with the letters O-H. Just make sure that you hold your O long enough. American O is a diphthong, meaning that it starts in that round O position, and then we relax the jaw and close and lift the tongue. O. For most people, just holding the O a little bit longer is good enough to get that diphthong sound. Thorough. Then this word throughout looks somewhat similar, but we have a different combination of letters and sounds for it. So we again have our TH sound, and now we have RO instead of OR, and it's saying the OO sound. So again, you might want to start with R and then add your TH like roo, through. This is the same, this kind of through, like means preposition like through the door or throughout time, is the same as this kind of through. And sometimes you see it written like that, through, as in, for example, drive through, an incorrect spelling, but it represents that there's a TH and an OO, THR and an OO sound, through. And then, so we have the OUGH here, but it just says OO. And then we have the OW diphthong in the word out. So it's the same as the word out. I've rewritten that here with OW, just thinking about ow. Again, we're gliding and it's a longer sound. And you'll also notice in throughout, I didn't say throughout with the strong T. At the ends of words, the T does different things depending on what's next, but a lot of times if I'm just saying a word by itself, or if the next sound is a consonant, throughout time, I'm just making a stopped T. So I go up to make that T throughout, and I don't release it, or I release it into the next word. Throughout time, throughout the day, etc. You can get more help for what the T sounds say in the beginning, middle, and ends of words in our videos about that. Also, in our Sounds of English course on speechmodification.com, we walk you through all of the different sounds of English, how they're spelled, what common words they're in, what accent error patterns to watch out for. So it's a really good resource to build a strong foundation to be able to pronounce any word you want confidently and fluently in American English. That's our Sounds of English course on speechmodification.com. You can check it out on the courses page. Okay, so once I can say thorough and throughout by themselves, I do want to try practicing them in some short phrases just so they come smoothly and fluently to me in my everyday speech. So this video was extremely thorough, I hope, in giving you all of the details about these words. Throughout the class, I'll be taking your questions, so you can put a comment or question in the chat at any time, and I'll talk about those next. So it doesn't have to be related to those words or to sounds and spelling. It can be about pronouncing words or pronouncing American accent. All sorts of questions get asked in this Saturday class. So whatever is going to be helpful for you, feel free to ask. It's nice to see so many of you here today, and I have been enjoying all your comments and questions throughout the week on our Word of the Day videos, as well as on our newer videos, our shorts for medical terms, our playlists for brand names and names. We've got a lot of variety on the channel, as well as, of course, our weekly classes. Okay, nice to see you. We have a question about the words continent and continental. So the question is how to say the T in those. I just said them continent and continental with a true T, but in connected speech, I would follow the rules and I probably wouldn't say a true T there. So let's take both of those. First of all, continent. In continent, what we tend to do is stop T's for both of them. So rather than continent, it is okay to say continent with a true T. And if that's easiest for you, it'll be well understood, it's fine. But you can hear how if I say on the continent, it slows down my speech a little bit. American native speakers will typically say continent, continent. So they stop this T, which means this N is going to be short. Con, short N, no T there. Nen. They do for the N and the N, nen. There's a little eh sound, and then again another stop T. So this N is also short. This is pretty similar to the word important, where I do the same thing, continent. You can look up my video for important to get a little bit more help with that stop T, NT combination. And then for continental, we can do the same thing with the stop T's, continental. There for the second one, we would do continental. We would do, instead of a stop T on this T, we would do more nenal, where we would drop that T. So continental would sound like con with that short N, continental. I think in continental, I do say it that way, but I might also say continental, in which case I would use true T's both times, because the nental, continental, it's either one. So you have some options here with continent and continental. Whatever's easiest for you, generally either the T or the stop T, and then continental with the dropped NT. So when we have NT in words like interview or internet, we often say just N's. You can also say interview and internet, but many native speakers will just drop the T in an NT combination in the middle, unless the T starts that's something stressed. Like this isn't an NT word, but in a word like hotel, we use a true T when the T starts the word or starts a stressed syllable. So there are words that have an N and then a T starting the stressed syllable where we have to say that T sound. Again, you can get more help for all of the different iterations of American T in our videos for American T. After class, I'll put some links in the description for this video and in the comments that can take you to more details for videos I mention and for sounds I mention. And then, of course, check out our Sounds of English course for those videos and lessons and more details as well. Thank you. That was a great question. Okay, we have a question about the T in appointment. So similarly, in appointment, we do the same thing that we did in continent, where in appoint, this T is a stopped T, so we're going to do a short N. And ment, we're going to have, again, a stopped T. So be short on your ends, but you don't typically say appointment, but rather appointment, appointment. That's the typical way. Just like important and continent, appointment. Two stopped T's, which means the N sound is very short. Okay, we have a question about the word definitely. I do have a video for this, and I'll send you, or I'll put the link in the comments after class so that you can definitely get some more details for it. In the word definite, we have this A, but we're not saying an A sound here. This is what I typically hear when I hear an error on it, that we have the word ate, right? Or the word mate or rate, for example, where we have that true A sound. But in definite and definitely, it's an unstressed, reduced vowel there. So we have first syllable stress. Sounds like the vowel, sorry, I'm mixing up my IPA and my sounds. So if I'm respelling it creatively, it would be definitely. How that looks in IPA, definitely. Definitely. So this T is a stop T. And you see here, I could write definitely. Sometimes I write the schwa spelling because I think that makes sense to people. Definitely. But the I and the are somewhat interchangeable in a lot of words in the unstressed syllables. You really just want a reduced vowel there. Definitely. And definitely practice it slowly, speed back up. That's a great way to get the rhythm and the sounds. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Then also you want to try using some short phrases just for any word that you're working on. You can master the word, you get the pronunciation when you're saying it by itself. Then you maybe go to use it and it still comes out the old way, or you stumble, you don't feel confident. If you've practiced saying, I'll definitely be there, he's definitely important to me, it's definitely correct, then when you go to use it in real life, it tends to come out more easily and more smoothly for you. So don't just stop with practicing the word, build up and add phrases and sentences. Okay, definitely a great word. Thank you for that request. Let's see what else we have today. We have a question about words like email, mail, and nail. The sound A is longer, and I don't really hear the E sound in the diphthong A. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so in a word like email or mail or nail, we have that A diphthong written in the dictionary this way. And nail, the question is about the y sound. I think you're saying you're questioning whether there's a y sound in nail. The place a y sound would come in is if we're doing some vowel to vowel linking. So when we have a dark L at the end of the word, it has a bit of a schwa sound, ol. And then if we have the nail, there ends up being a bit of a glide as we go between the A and the ol, ale. But if I'm saying it quickly and naturally, nail, I don't want to say nail. I don't want to insert too much y there, nail. But if you're saying it very slowly, nail, you'll hear that when you move from A to that y glide is kind of how those sounds connect. So if that's your question, you don't really need to put a strong y in, nail. But if you're not hearing any, or if you're not feeling that connection between the A and the nail, you might not be doing ul, so your L sound might not really be that American dark L. Yeah, okay, that was a great question, and I do have a video for email, mail, other words with the A and the ol combination, and you can also get more help for that combination and those sounds in our Sounds of English course. After class, I'll put some links to the videos and courses so you can check those out in more detail if that's helpful for you. Thanks for that question. Okay, we have a question about the word disappointment. So disappointment. A lot of NTs here in our words requested today. So disappointment, we have that same stopped T where we're not really going to hear the T and we're just going to hear those short N sounds. I do need to stop the air, disappointment, to make that sound. In disappointment, the stress is on the point syllable, so it sounds like disappointment. Disappointment. I hope that wasn't a disappointment to you. That's a great request. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see what else we have today. Many great questions. It's so nice to see so many of you here. And thank you for those of you who've been leaving requests and questions throughout the week, comments on the videos. It helps me know what videos to make next for you. And I do have a great list of words to cover in our short videos and also in our Word of the Day videos. Also, if you're watching this not live, you can leave a comment on this video and I'll cover your word in a future class. Or of course, you can attend live next Saturday because we do meet every week. Okay, another question. The word splurge. Okay, so the viewer is saying it's a challenging word because of the consonant clusters. Anytime we have a number of consonants in a row, a cluster of consonants, it's helpful to break down the sounds and kind of add them back slowly one at a time. In words with R, I do like to start with the R sound. So to work on pronouncing splurge, I would start with just and then you can also do urge. I guess I'll write it this way. It's actually the same as the word urge, right? So trying your and then your urge. You can also do and then lur. That might be a tough combination because the L lifts in the front and the has to lift in the back. So just try feeling and noticing your tongue lifting for the L sound. Lur. Or build on from lur. When I say lur, my tongue is actually kind of already in the R position and it just does a little lift for the L because the R is usually controlling the rest of the word. I can't get into an R sound. If I start here with the spl, by the time I try to get to the it's too late. It'll sound like splurge. There'd be too much other vowel sound. So building from lur, plur, splur, splurge would be how I would do it. Kind of build in one at a time. Lur, plur, splur, splurge. Also, you can try doing things like, I don't know, spleen comes to mind, or explain. That has the same combination of splain, explain. Building it up slowly for those combinations of consonants is really the best way to go in a word like splurge. Yeah, it's definitely challenging though. Be patient, give yourself time to be able to get that combination of sounds. Okay, we have a question about the word, the phrase, that food. Can I link the T with the F sound? So when a word ends with T, what happens next is if there's a consonant, like in the combination that food, the way we link T's, final T's, to consonant sounds is that we use a stopped T. So that food, I'd like some of that food, basically, I stop the T. I don't say that food with a break between them. I don't let the release the T. I just go right to the F sound, that food. Same thing if I said that time or that place. You can hear that the T doesn't get released on those. Not that food, that time, but that food, that time, that place. That's consistent basically all the time for our final T. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we have a question about the words exclamation, exasperation, and surprise. Let's start with exasperation. So for exasperation, words that have ation have a consistent stress pattern in English where they are stressed on the A syllable, second to last syllable. So you hear it as ation, long and short. And then for exasperation, we have this EX in exasperation is saying a voiced G and Z sound, exas. Letter A says the A, black cat vowel, and then the S is a sound. So you can think about it as exasperation or exasperation, whichever is easier for you. You basically have to do go from the to the A. So where the R falls in which syllable doesn't really matter. Exasperation. And then when we have your other word with ation, exclamation, in that word, exclamation. Instead of an igs for the EX, we have an X, excuse me. So the red tent vowel, you can think about it. It's the same way we say the letter X. So I would write it this way, exclamation. Exclamation, exasperation, and then your last word, surprise, has stress on the prize syllable. The letter S says Z, and then the letter E makes the I say its name, so it's diphthong I. It's just like prize. And this is just like the word sir. So short, long, surprise. Okay. A lot of feeling words there. Thank you. That was a good request. All right. We have a question about private classes. So you can go to my website, speechmodification.com, and there on the website there is a category called About, or you can also click on the store page and it'll talk about how I do one-on-one training. I do also have small group classes for corporations or for people that come to me as a group. But for one-on-one training, basically, I meet with clients on a flexible schedule. Most people meet once a week for 30 or 45 minutes. And that time is spent focused on that client's particular needs. So we start with an assessment, see how your speech is, see what your goals are. And then each time that we meet, we work on specific targets for pronunciation. Accent training is really about, in my opinion, being well understood and having your accent not get in the way of communicating with others. Different people have different goals, though, of course. So some people really are working to sound more American, have more of an American accent. And then a lot of people are looking at being able to communicate very clearly. They're making change in their work or in their job. They want to be well understood, and they don't want their speech to get in the way of that. And so the training focuses on the most important parts of communication, being well understood, the elements of your accent that might be interfering, and then also teaching you and training you how to practice in a way that's effective to change your speech. So we work on the things that people actually say, the most commonly used words and phrases in English, as well as what they have to say for their work. A lot of times people are working on they have to interact in meetings, or they have to do presentations, they have to do sales calls with customers. Whatever it is that they're working on and having to say for communication, we focus on practicing that way. Generally, people work with me anywhere from a month or two to longer term, depending on, again, their goals. But my goal is that my customers, my clients don't need me anymore, that they build the tools and the practice habits to change their speech over time. Because, of course, all of you who are watching and working on pronunciation know pronunciation is challenging, changing accent is challenging, and it takes time. But when you have specific focused practice and help on your particular needs, you tend to make much faster progress. My clients tend to really understand well about their own speech, and then they're able to begin to change it, which really makes a change in their confidence and their abilities to communicate well in English. So That's kind of a long version, but you can read about it on speechmodification.com. You can see what it costs, and you can contact me if you're interested after you've checked that out. So thank you for that question. Okay, question about do we stop the T in last night? Earlier I was saying that if the T is followed by a consonant sound, that we always make a stopped T, like that night. If I'm saying last night, because of the ST, I might say last night with a true T, or I think sometimes that stopped T also might be a fully dropped T, like last night. I don't really want last night with a strong S, but I don't really have to do last night with a fully stopped T either. So I think that in a case of an ST blend, depending on what's next, you may also hear that T just kind of disappears. I was talking to her last night. So I didn't say last night with a strong S, last night. But I also didn't say last night with a truly, maybe I did stop the T a little bit. So either stop it or drop it in that phrase. Thanks for that follow-up question. Really good one. Okay, we have a question about the word silhouette. Let's take on your word. So in silhouette, the H is silent. After that, it's somewhat straightforward. So we have first syllable stress. It's the same I sound that's in the words silly or hilly. Silhouette. That O, I would say, does become more of a schwa, like silhouette. And then, I guess it's not totally straightforward because the OU is really like a schwa and a W sound. So it's like the word wet at the end. Her silhouette. So actually, I was incorrect. It's not stressed on sil, it's stressed on the final syllable wet, silhouette. In the shadow, or in the her silhouette, we could see her silhouette on the wall. Okay, good word. Definitely doesn't follow the spelling, doesn't follow the French origins. It's really changed now in English. Okay, and we have a question about the phrase hanging in there. I do have a video for hang out and hanging. So hanging in there, we're all having to say this a lot these days, right? We're hanging in there. So hanging, we have the a vowel and the ng sound. So we don't want a g in there, not hanging, but hanging. So you can check out my video for hanging, singing, to learn more about how to get that inging combination, or anging. So hanging in, and then we tend to link these two together. And then we have the there. There has the air diphthong. So thinking about it like hanging in there. I'll write air this way. Not easy, but I think once you get the ings of hanging, it tends to be easier to say the whole phrase. We're hanging in there. Okay, great request. Thank you. We have a question about in the beginning, the A in the beginning of the word America is my nightmare. Oh, okay, let's see if we can make you not have nightmares about that anymore. I do have a video for America and American. So I think the issue with words that start with A that aren't stressed on the A is that people tend to think of A and they think ah or ah. They think they need to do a clear vowel there. And in America, the stress is on mare. So start on that part of the word, saying mare, America. Then just add your sound that letter A makes after that. America, America. The is super short and reduced. There's almost no vowel there at all. It's just like the word like if I have a friend, a country, we say the sound. The mare is long and the is short. America, America. You can almost get away with not saying it. America, America. You do want that syllable there. And I think the other thing is that sometimes people see that ER and they aren't really thinking air. So building from air can help as well. Air, mare, America, America. Okay, yeah, good word. Many of us have to say it, and it can be challenging because of that spelling. I think I do also have a number of videos about words like about and above, where you really want to think about, again, building that being very short, and then that we have our about and above are the important part. About, above, above. A lot of words that start with an unstressed A, they all have this same kind of pattern. Okay, wonderful questions today. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of class. I'll be back tomorrow with another Word of the Day class, as well as probably some new shorts for you. I've been building my playlists for names, for medical terms, other playlists like that, so you can check those out as well. As I said, each day we have our Word of the Day, and then on Saturdays we have our live question and answer class. So you can attend again next week. If you're watching this later on, you can leave your questions in a comment as well, and I'll add your words to cover in a future class. Thanks so much for being here today and for all of the wonderful questions. It was nice to see everyone, and I look forward to seeing you in future classes. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, everyone. Hope to see you again soon.